I'm very happy to be with you. I'm working for the Kyunghee University about 40 years, majored in the Sasang Constitutional Medicine. At this time, I'd like to think about the constitutional acupuncture and the technical acupuncture at the area of the theoretical aspect of the manipulation of these two kinds of acupuncture treatment. Just before, as we already have, the Professor Kim introduced about the technical acupuncture very well, so that I can save a lot of time, and it is very comfortable for me to use my time. And the gentleman is an originator of the Sasang Constitutional Medicine, and this is original book named The Longevity and Life Preservation in Oriental Medicine. Dr. Lee was born in 1837 and he was deceased in 1900. He wrote a book of the Dongyi Shusebon in 1894, and through this book he proposed a very practical and very unique theory named the Sasang Constitutional Medicine. In the theory of the Sasang Constitutional Medicine, there are four kinds of the characteristics. The first one is inherent aspect of the human being. Every human has a different outlook and the different temperament and the different character. And each one has a very different, but we can find out a certain kind of the commonness between our parent and us. And such kind of the characteristics that will be handed to our son and daughters. And every human being receive and such kind of the inheritance aspect. And in his idea, we have to think about such kind of the constitutional characteristics. And the second one is the mind and body relationship without the human being. And we have to think about the reaction between the mind and body, the solely. That's his viewpoint. And the third one is the constitutional aspect. When we have some kind of the medicinal herb formula or the food, the response can be different according to the constitutional trait. And so we have to think about such kind of the difference in the medical practice. That's his view. And the final one is the social aspect. Everybody lives in the society. And is there anybody who can live alone? Nobody. Yeah. And in the viewpoint, there can be a better way to adapt in the social environment. That's his idea. And these kinds of the characteristics of the Sasang Constitutional Medicine, they propose us a very nice vision, which the medicine will go forth. And we can think about the point from his idea. This table shows the basic concept of the Sasang Constitutional Medicine. At the beginning, it's quite difficult to understand. But his idea is not so complicated. It's quite simple. He divided it into 4 dimensions. The first one is the environmental frame. The second one is the human affair. Third one is the wisdom. And fourth is the deed or the action. And each dimension can be classified into 4 components. For example, in the environmental factors, there are 4 the components, such as the 정시, 세회, 인륜, 지방. It means the times of heaven, the social relationship, the human relationship, the locality. But the meaning, the literal meaning, that can be difficult to understand. But his idea is not so complicated. The 지방, the 지방 means the natural environment, and the Ilyun means the human environment, and Sehe means social environment, and Cheonshi means the timely or the historical environment. And if you go to the right-hand side, it turns to be a bit physical. And if you go to the left-hand side, it turns to be metaphysical. And from the metaphysical status to the physical state, he classified every dimension into 4. Likewise, he divided the 4 the factors in the human affairs and wisdom and action like that. That is the basic idea of the approach. And through that idea, he tried to make the harmony between our natural environment and human. And in this state, the wisdom and the action will evolve to the concept of the mind and body. Through this dimension, he tried to find out the harmony between the mind and body. And if we add these 2 dimensions, if we plus the environmental factor for the human affairs, it can make our the society. And if you add the mind on our body, it can make individual. And the glossary, in a big picture, he tried to pursue the harmony between our society and individual. That's his idea. And throughout the picture, he pursues the harmony between ourself and non-self, and the human and nature, and individual and society, and mind and body. And the second concept for his idea is the excess, the deficiency, extrovert and introvert. This concept comes from the book of Jung-yong, the book of Golden Mean. The golden mean means a very balanced the condition, not inclined to any the wrong side. And if we can keep the Jung-yong status, we can keep healthy condition in our body. And this the concept is applied to the pathogenesis and the pharmacophysiology in the Sasang constitutional medicine. Many practitioners, they feel curious. What is the difference and what is the commonness between the TCM and the Sasang constitutional medicine? And the similarity, the commonness is in every kind of the medical modality, the target is human. Even for the Western medicine, the target is human. And they try to make balance in their own theoretical system. In the Western science, they try to find out the balance between in the autonomic system, there is a sympathetic and parasympathetic nerve action. And they try to make harmony between these two, the nervous system. And in the TCM, they try to make harmony between the 5-element theory or the yin and yang theory or the Meridian theory. And that is the commonness. In the Sasang constitutional medicine, they can divide into 4 the quaternary system, but they try to make balance between each dimension. And the difference is the TCM based on the disease or the symptoms. And in SCM, the target of the Sasang constitutional medicine is human. That's the difference. And the philosophical base is totally different. The TCM based on the Taoistic naturalism. And in the Sasang constitutional medicine, the philosophical base is Confucianism. That is the main difference between the TCM and the Sasang constitutional medicine. And when we design the Sasang constitution, we used to think about the several things. The first one is our looking appearance in their face and in the trunk type. And the second one is there, the personality and the temperament. Third one is the response of the medication or the food. And the next one is the pulse, the condition. And the last one is the acupuncture, the response, as like the Dr. Kim mentioned before. And as the Dr. Kim mentioned before, each type that has the different the visceral condition. In the case of the Taeyang type, their lung is pretty well developed and the liver is weak. And in the case of Taeyong type, the liver is strong and the lung is weak. And we have to remind that there is some difference between the visceral concept of the traditional, the TCM, and the Sasang constitutional medicine. That is, the traditional, the visceral concept based on 5 elemental theory or the Meridian theory. But in the Sasang constitutional medicine, their concept based on 4 Jiao theory. In Korean, the Sachoron. From top to down, he classified the human body into 4. From the upper body and the upper middle body and the lower middle Jiao and lower Jiao. 상초, 중상초, 중하초, 하초. And the representative, the viscera for the upper Jiao is lung. And the representative, the viscera for the upper middle is the spleen. And the representative viscera for the lower middle is the liver. And for the lower Jiao is the kidney. That is the main difference between the TCM and SCM, the visceral concept. That we have to remind that. And the correlated, the bowel is different. For the lung, the related bowel is large intestine. But in the Sasang constitutional medicine, esophagus. In Korean, V1. And for the spleen, the stomach. That is same. The spleen and stomach. And for the liver, in the TCM, there is a gallbladder. But in the SCM, the small intestine. And for the kidney, large intestine is the corresponding the bowel. And there, the correlation between the viscera and bowel is different. And as like before, in Soyang and Soum, the visceral concept is different. In the case of Soyang, the spleen is strong and the kidney is weak. And for the Soum, the spleen is weak and the kidney is strong. And when we discern, we use the special the questionnaire, so to speak, the QSCC. When we analyze the outlooking appearance, we analyze the facial type and there's the trunk type. And we analyze the voice type and the susceptibility of the disease that can be different. And there are the different regimens for each the constitution. In the technical acupuncture was already explained by the Professor Kim, so I skip this one. And the formulas are for the constitutional acupuncture. The formulas are for the hyperfunction, the constitutional, the formulas. And this 12 is for the hypo, the function, the constitutional, the formulas. And this 8, the constitutional pulse was proposed by the Dr. Kwon in 1965. And he discerned the constitutional difference on the pulse diagnosis. And after that, he added the several kinds of the auxiliary the formulas according to their the disease condition, such as the psychological the formulas and the infectious inflammatory formulas the bactericidal formulas, such as actually the formula was presented. And in the case of the Dr. Yum, he find out another, the kind which is targeting another meridians, and he can the pan the 24 the kinds of the constitutional formulas. And as a conclusion, I'd like to summarize these two kinds of the constitutional acupuncture theory. The first one is the visual concept is a bit different. So we have to remind such kind of difference. And the second one is, in the case of the Dr. Kwon and the Dr. Yum's, the constitutional acupuncture, they apply the pulse diagnosis. And the problem is pulse position is a bit different. And that is one of the problems. And the third one is the differential, the standard for the constitutional, the acupuncture the application, based on the pulse. And as you know, the pulse diagnosis is quite subjective. So we have to consider about the problems. To make the better vision of the future, the constitutional medicine. Thank you very much.